One of the great miracles of this nation is that you can protest freely. I want to thank, before I speak, the students who protested here today, because that is what free countries allow. Equally, I want to thank this institution for respecting that right. Where I come from, there would be no guarantee that you would either go home today or graduate after an action like that. But let me also thank young Dasha. As she sat down, I said to her, "You took it like a champ." As I sat in and on the gritty floor of the notorious Chikurubi maximum security prison in Zimbabwe, my head hung low with both shame and with fear. The putrid stench in the hole, in the corner, which was our bathroom, of the small cell that I shared with 52 other inmates no longer bothered me. And especially on that day when the torture had been particularly tough to deal with. I longed to be with my family, whose condition I was not aware of. My crime was starting a citizens' movement and demanding that the dictator ends injustice, corruption, and poverty. Through a 4-minute Facebook video, I had rallied our entire nation to protest by staying at home and shutting the entire country down. I saw people that had been brutalized for 40 years find the courage to stand up to oppression. One of the prisoners whom I shared the cell with found me in this sad state of affairs. And he said to me, "Ivan, you can't sit here and be sad. You have work to do. You see all these men here," as he pointed to the other prisoners, "they have stories to tell. They have dreams that will energize you so that when you leave here, you are stronger than you were when you came in." I learned that day the true meaning of one of my favorite Bible scriptures, which is, "We are pressed from every side but not crushed. We are perplexed but not in despair. We are persecuted but not abandoned. Struck down but not destroyed." 2 Corinthians 4, verse 8 through to 12. I was released from prison, and my family and I escaped Zimbabwe to safety here in the United States. But after 6 months in exile, it did not sit right with me that we had begun a journey for freedom, and I had run because I was afraid of the regime. The thing about fighting for freedom and democracy, or for anything, is that it cannot be outsourced. You have to be present. So I packed my bag and I kissed my wife and my daughters goodbye, and I cried the entire journey back to Zimbabwe. I was arrested immediately on arrival at the airport and went straight back to the maximum security prison where the torture resumed. Why did I go back, you may ask? Because that is what you do. You go back and you serve. You go back and you face the brutal monster, and you take away the sting of their threats, so that whilst you sit in jail, others have a voice. Today I ask you to remember the men and women who sit in prisons around the world, unjustly held and punished for being good citizens. Help me remember Job Sikala and Jacob Ngarivume, who are imprisoned in Zimbabwe as we speak. Free them all. There is no guarantee that sometimes it will work. But my friends, our world today has far more people that are holding withdrawal notes than those with deposit slips. There are more takers than givers. There are more blamers than forgivers. So as you go from here, let me ask you what else you take with you for this journey. May I suggest that you pack two things. The first is the resolve to serve people with your presence. Go where the need is greatest and the help is least. There is no guarantee that they will remember your name or your face, but let them never forget your unrelenting passion to serve. Let them never forget your desire to give your skill, your knowledge, your wealth, and your very self, because nothing that is of true value and meaning was ever achieved without the sacrifice of self. Secondly, remember that you have courage. Everyone has courage. What's usually missing is knowing the thing that we care so deeply about that we are willing to stare down a military tanker or look down the barrel of an AK-47. In those jail cells, I found my courage. So I continued the work, and I was arrested 8 more times over the course of 4 years. When I finally escaped again, and came back to my family, my daughter, who was a month old when I left, was now 3. I wondered what she would think of me and my decision to fight for our country and be away from her. But it turns out that she adores me and reminds me that she knows no braver man than I. I must offer my apologies to the young man that shall marry her. I hope that as you walk on from here, you are not going only with a diploma from this fine and amazing institution. I pray earnestly that as you look at the horizon of your life, you're heading out with a decision of what you will spend the rest of your life representing, defending, and struggling for, because that is what life is. It is a series of struggles. So as I close, if we never meet again, and if perhaps your journey leads to dreaded places and tough assignments, remember the words of this jailbird from Zimbabwe, saying, "Make the struggle worth it." Makorokoto Amtlope, congratulations. May God bless you and keep you.